all the friends and chicks that I know,
Yeah.
I think you have one of the most fascinating professions.
Mm.
Okay, tell us, what do you do? What do you do for
I'm a
work?
jeweler.
What does that mean?
That means I design engagement rings. I help people pick their diamonds, pick their different heads, different shanks, and we design engagement rings and
Heads
order
and
them.
shank sounds like a weapon.
No, it's the parts of an engagement ring. The part where the diamond goes is the head, the shank, the band, different wedding bands, and we design the set. And then we place a custom order.
Wow, you sound like you're
Mhm.
marketing yourself. When it comes to that, though,
Yeah.
there are different styles that people have.
hmm
What does that tell you about the person? Let's have some fun here. Based on the different styles they order, what does that tell you about the person?
Right now, everything is just simple, plain, because that's what's trending online. You get a few people that are into very Art Deco. They're most probably vintage. They probably grew up seeing their grandma's rings. We have a lot of people that want weird cuts like Marquise, because Selena Gomez has it. A lot of what's trending on social media, cuts that we haven't seen in years. Because I started in jewelry when I was 16.
I didn't know she was engaged, by the way, Selena.
She got engaged.
Wow.
She got a Marquise. I had never ever seen a Marquise in all these years in jewelry, and
I'm
now
gonna
it's
nod like I know what that means.
like a oval, but a pointed oval shape.
So not an oval.
Not an oval, pointed. No, it's coming
Okay,
back.
so Marquise and all these things.
Everyone wants a Marquise now.
And the general accepted thing is what? You have to spend 3 months of your salary on the ring?
I mean, you'd hope so.
That's what I hear. That's what people say. Now, just in that,
Mhm.
there was a cultural passing down from
Mhm.
generation to generation
Mhm.
of style and how things are done.
Mhm.
Societal expectation
Mhm.
of a certain kind of ring
And
or
size.
in size, or
Mhm.
else you feel unloved
Mhm.
or it's not cool to show on social media.
Yeah.
This is nothing but cultural identity right there.
Mhm.
And we take so much time to put that into something. I'm not going to use the word insignificant, but as common as giving a ring. But
Yeah.
then when it comes to an identity that's religiously based,
Uh-huh.
that seems to be in the back of our minds.
Mhm.
Is that a problem?
I guess so. Seeing it in that perspective, yeah.
So is it that
Yeah.
we have to sell Hinduism a certain way to make it mainstream and cool for our own people? What do we do?
I think so.
Now, one more factor in this whole thing is heritage.
Mhm.
Bharata is the homeland. That is the origin of our Hindu religion. That's
Mhm.
undisputed. Bharata is more of an idea for us than a location in many
Mhm.
ways. Do you feel that Bharatiya connection growing up in the West?
Yes, I think my parents did a very good job of making sure we had that connection. We got taught a lot of history, even though we didn't in school. We would come home, we got taught. We would go back very often. Language was never a barrier for us. They made sure that we learned the language. And so, in that way, we built a lot of pride. We built connection because we were always there. We went there every year on holiday. We knew how to speak the language. We knew the history. We're like, yeah, you know what? I'm proud of this.
I underestimated how much language meant
Mm-hmm.
in this whole identity.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought it's something that's naturally passed down.
Yeah.
But I have cousins that,
Mm-hmm.
through no fault of their own, they were born in the 70s or 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And so being different then was really, really tough to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
So their parents never taught them their home language, their
Mhm.
native language,
Mhm.
right? Only English. So I see at family reunions even, they're not able to keep up with the
Yeah.
casual conversation that's going on.
Mhm.
Someone will make a joke and my brother and I will laugh.
Yeah.
And I look at these guys and there's no reaction. I'm
Mhm.
like, oh, they don't understand. Like, it's
Yeah,
sad to
it's
see,
sad.
but that's the circumstances that they're placed
Mhm.
in. As far as heritage, though, I don't know. I didn't really feel that connection with Bharata growing up because we just go to people's homes in India and then
Mhm.
come back.
Yeah.
Connection wasn't there. It was only after becoming a brahmachari
Mm-hmm.
and taking yatras with Swami Sarveshanand ji, whether it's going through coastal Karnataka
Mhm.
and seeing temples there, whether it's after my brahmachari training course, going to Rishikesh, Haridwar, Gangotri, all these places. That really made me feel that connection.
Mm-hmm.
A connection that in the big cities, it feels so westernized.
Yeah.
I don't feel it,
Mhm.
but that's what, something like 70% of the country,
Mm-hmm.
of the population that's in
Mhm.
it. So heritage is also something that, not to sound pessimistic, but it is slipping away in a way. Then finally, media and politics. We covered politics a little bit.
Yeah.
Media.
Mm-hmm.
How does that influence our Hindu identity?
Like I said, like it's the same thing for me. It's just you don't want to be canceled. You don't want to be seen a certain way if you are proudly saying that I'm a Hindu or I support something like the Ram Mandir. If you support that, that means you must be against this. There's no, you cannot be both. I think that's
Part
what
of
social
identity
media
is
portrays.
picking a side, however.
Yeah.
That is a big part of identity.
Mhm.
Does that mean Hinduism has to be exclusive to some other ideals? What is it like?
I think that's how social media sees it. I don't think that's how it is. But if you pick a side, then that means that you're not on this side. And then that means that you're excluding a certain group of people.
I don't have the blessing and bhagya of being on social media,
Mm-hmm.
unlike luminaries like yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you see there in terms of
It's
picking a
like
side or Hinduism there?
if you support this, if you support, for example, the Ram Mandir, that automatically means that you must be against some other group of people.
Mm.
It means that you are compassionate about one group and you don't care about this. So there's no, you cannot be both. It's either you pick a side and then you get canceled for not being on the other side. That's how it always is.
So we've seen with these silent elements,
Mhm.
pretty complicated.
Mhm.
To have a Hindu identity
Mhm.
for our generation going forward,
Mhm.
what are those elements that we can rely on and say, this we have with us, therefore Hindu identity will be strong? Like, for example, language is not one of
Mhm.
those things.
Mhm.
I see friends that are having kids now,
Mhm.
and not just friends who are of two different languages, like a
Mhm.
Telugu person marrying a Punjabi, not even like that.
Mhm.
I'm talking Marathi, Tamilian.
Mhm.
They don't pass on the language to their kids
Mhm.
because we think in English, we speak
Yeah.
in English.
Mhm.
Language will not be passed down.
Okay.
That is just a fact.
Mhm.
All right, for second generation and going forward, it
Mhm.
won't be. But like that, what are some elements that we will retain, do you think?
Celebration, definitely.
Okay.
I think that's something we will retain. A lot of, I think, Chinmay Mission we will retain, like sending our kids to Balvihar, Chik. That I feel like is something solid that we will retain.
I was naive about that. I thought that,
Mhm.
okay, if someone's a graduate and they're having kids, of course they'll send their kids to Balvihar. What I'm seeing a trend of
Mhm.
is they'll have their kids 5, 6, 7 years old.
Uh-huh.
They still won't. The
Mhm.
grandparents are the ones that say, okay, I'll take your kid to Balvihar then. And then they're the ones that bring their grandkids to Balvihar. Several
Mm.
families I can point to like that,
Mhm.
where that's happening. So I don't know if it was my own naivety that I thought that, okay, just because someone's a graduate, they'll bring their
Maybe
kids, of
I
course.
would.
I
Yeah.
would too. I mean, that's a
Yeah.
natural thing we
Mm.
think would happen.
Mhm.
The importance just isn't really there, though,
Mhm.
of that Hindu connection. I'm not just
Yeah.
saying Chinmaya Mission. I'm saying across the
Across,
board,
yeah.
any
Yeah.
kind of Hindu institution that they've grown up in,
Mhm.
there's a kind of distancing from that in a
Mhm.
way. That also seems to happen. So celebrations,
Mhm.
that's something we'll retain.
Mhm.
What else that you're for sure that we will retain as part of our identity?
Personally, I think I would definitely retain language.
Yeah.
I don't see. I mean, I get it because grandparents speak English these days, so you don't really need to retain that.
But okay, you speak
Mhm.
Marathi
Yeah.
and you're Hindi as well.
Mhm.
You and your husband, I've seen you speak in Hindi to each other almost
Mhm.
exclusively, right?
Mhm.
Do you think that's going to retain and your kids are going to pick up on that?
Definitely.
But once they start going to school, isn't that going to
Well,
dissipate?
that's what we had. We had to speak Marathi at home. So it was just my mom wouldn't reply to us.
Just wouldn't reply to you at all?
Just would not talk to us.
Was
So,
that frustrating?
no, because that just meant we had to learn. I guess in that moment it was, but now looking back at it, I'm really grateful because we get to communicate with our grandparents, with everyone else that speaks Marathi. We don't feel excluded when we go back home.
So do you see you and your husband doing that with your kids? If they don't speak in Hindi with you, you just don't respond?
Probably. I think I would. I don't know about him, but I would.
I'll be around. I'll see what
Okay.
happens. Let's
Mhm.
see what happens.
Yeah.
Bet.
Bet.
All right, so that's language.
Mhm.
What else?
Clothing,
Okay.
how we dress. I think we're
Dude,
not.
I go to weddings
Yeah.
when I have to go to
Mhm.
weddings. It's not
That's what I
that's
was gonna
not
say,
the way we
modesty, but I
dress. That's not the way we
I
dress,
was gonna say
man.
modesty, but I don't think so.
Now I sound like a old
Yeah.
person when I'm saying all this.
Mhm.
I don't know, man.
The wedding lehengas and everything now where they're cut out and you wear like a bra looking thing.
Bollywood tells us how to dress. That's what it
Yeah.
is, and that's not what our Sanskriti is.
Mm-hmm.
Even for men. For men, I can say
Yeah.
the same thing. It's really not what our Sanskriti is. Clothing has totally taken a different turn.
This is getting more and more difficult now.
I know. See,
Clothing.